Drones over the United States. These are several different operations. You just can't get caught up into the thought that it's only the CIA, or it's only white hats, or it's only the military that are hunting biological weapons. They are hunting nuclear weapons. They are hunting dirty bombs. The real truth is there are multiple operations happening. That's why you have different drones. Some of the drones are man-made drones. Some of them are small. Some of them are the size of cars. Some of the drones are traveling at high speeds. Some of the drones, when they're recorded with certain camera equipment, they're ball of spears of energy. They're orbs. There's multiple operations that's in place. So right now, on the military side of it, they're working 24 hours a day. They're trying to find out where these nuclear bombs are, these dirty bombs are. And they're looking for all of these gamma rays that these drones can pick up. These are military drones. So that's part of the military operations that they're looking around for. Because behind the scenes, from the deep state, from Mossad, CIA operations, globalists from inside of Europe, they're working with people who are part of Russia. That's the old deep state. And they sent nuclear weapons to the United States that's encased inside of these huge vats of lead. And the lead is protecting the shell, but still a little bit of the gamma rays can be detected. The radiation can be detected. So that's what these drones are hunting for. And that's why some of them are in New Jersey. At the same time that these drones came out, these deep state operations, CIA with Skunk Works, with Raytheon. And when I say Skunk Works, I'm talking about Lockheed Martin, deep, dark operations. They have different kinds of drones. And one of the bad things to tell you about is that they're trying to find Trump's location. They're trying to hunt him. So that's what they're doing on one of their objectives that they're doing. One of the other objectives is to create chaos. They're trying to initiate almost like a Project Bluebeam to see people's response, to do a beta test, at the same time to cause chaos, confusion as the Russian war is going on, as the Middle East war is going on, the coup over Syria, the coup that's taken over in different countries, the way Trump is going to take apart the FBI, the CIA operations, going after the generals from the Pentagon, because these generals, certain generals, are part of this huge military industrial complex and the deep, dark operations that's connected to Skunk Works, Raytheon, the underground military bases through the United States that creates a lot of technology. They have hidden technology, they have advanced technology, and then they have technology that comes from ancient civilizations. This is a huge, gigantic subject when we start talking about what's in Antarctica, what's underneath the ice. When we talk about Atlantis wasn't just a city. Atlantis wasn't a country. Atlantis is underneath Antarctica. Atlantis is underneath Iran, Iraq. It's underneath the oceans that's near Greece. It's underneath the Arizona deserts. It's underneath Yellowstone, deep far underneath the Colorado mountains. Advanced civilizations that we know today as the world maps that we see. That's what Atlantis was. It was the whole region of the earth that we see on the maps, just that certain region. The reason why I'm telling you about this is because a few months ago, I gave you the calms of what's happening down in Antarctica, what's underneath the ice, having to do with blue ice, the technology that's they're using with that certain blue ice that's reacting to make military weapons. That's also connected to Raytheon, Skunk Works, connected to the Rothschilds who are funding that. These high grade military weapons that is down in Antarctica, it's connected to the underground civilization. And that old civilization of Atlantis, the technology that they had, infinite energy, powerful UAPs, the civilization, their grid, later on, it's affecting the ice that covered it. So underneath Antarctica, the civilization there's technology that is affecting that blue ice, and it's creating a certain neutrino, and that certain neutrino is turning into what people call blue ice. It's the Sharon Cove radiation, and the neutrinos and powerful advanced energy blue beam can travel faster than the speed of light and quantum leap into different dimensions, and it gathers information. But it's also a communication device between galaxies, outer and inner dimensions. This really strong, powerful technology of how they're using these neutrinos, this plasma energy, infinite energy all together. It's also, it creates earthquakes. It's creating particle weapons, particle beam weapons, direct energy weapons. And these same systems, it's using this plasma energy also. Now they found out that they can use this to create orbs. These orbs of energy is plasma physics technology that was created by the Navy. And they were working with skunk works from the deep state. So you have two different forces. USSF also has these operations. They have the orbs that they can use, but then also the deep state can also use these powerful orbs that they have. And these orbs are working with supercharged plasma drones. These drones are using classified parameters of anti-gravity technology that uses the plasma technology, and it's called cold plasma high charge density. It creates a spear of a ball of plasma. The plasma drones are using quantum communications. Normal agencies in the United States, they can't track who's controlling these plasma drones. They can't understand how these are working. So there's confusion over some of this. So these plasma drones are using quantum communications. And the patent for this is called communications systems, or gravity communication systems.
And now getting into plasma physics. If you guys are not familiar with Salvatore Cesar Pais, you should check out his work. He's the guy that has these UFO patents. But actually, he's a Navy and Space Force engineer. I've interviewed him multiple times. You can check out my interviews with him on my YouTube channel at JustXAshton. Now, in a lot of his interviews, he said that people should be thinking in terms of plasma. The reason they should be thinking in terms of plasma with respect to these anti-gravity type properties that the UFO community is always talking about is that plasma can store far more charge than any material we could come up with. Any other material, wires that we make wires out of, they're going to melt before they reach charge densities that become really extreme that we would need in order to produce anti-gravity. Why am I bringing this up? Because basically what I'm saying to people is that the United States military and primarily defense contractors, we call them private military contractors, PMCs for short, they have absolutely cracked anti-gravity. And they are far more advanced on fusion research, which uses plasma, than what we understand from the public perspective. In fact, I would go so far as to say that hot fusion, this idea that we're just going to heat up this plasma and we're going to get free energy out of it, that's never going to work. Trying to do it with temperature is never going to make it happen. Instead, cold plasmas are where the secret's at. And it turns out this guy named Ken Shoulders in the 80s, you can look him up if you want, discovered something called exotic vacuum objects. He found out that these cold plasmas have very high charge densities, and they have this weird property where they self-organize and they become self-sustaining. What do they self-organize into? A sphere. a ball of plasma. And Ken Shoulders was partners with a guy named Hal Puthoff. Hal Puthoff is a legendary name in the UFO community. He started remote viewing in the 70s, and then in the 80s, he switched over and started researching zero-point energy. Now, this is not a pseudoscientist. This guy got his PhD from Stanford. He's written quantum mechanics books. He developed the first tunable laser. This guy has written 20 or so papers on zero-point energy explaining all the gaps in physics that we have today. And he has a patent of his own, and his patent's called communication system. And you go, that's a weird name for a patent. It turns out it's a quantum communication system, otherwise known as a gravity communication system. And if you look his patent up right now, you'll find that it is useful for communicating through plasma where radio frequencies would normally bounce off. So if you add this up, and one more factor I want to throw in real quick, is that our hypersonic spy planes, how they achieve hypersonic speed. You've heard this hypersonics from Putin and stuff like that. They use a plasma sheath in front of them. So they have this plane and they have a plasma sheath, and this reduces the drag on the plane. That's how they can achieve those speeds without melting or falling apart. Now think about this. We had those planes in the 60s, the SR-71. At some point, I hypothesized that we realized, why have a plane at all? Why have a person in there? That's the spam in the can. It's a liability. Instead, just turn the plasma into a drone and then communicate with it, and you can remote control it around. And if you were to look at it, it would probably just look like a ball of light or a ball of energy. That we have plasma orbs that we can remote control and float around that defy gravity, and that Salvatore Caesar Pius's patents, when you add them all up, inertial mass reduction for a transmedium craft, gravitational wave device, also high temperature superconductor, and magnetically confined plasma fusion reactor. When you add these up, you go, wait, that equals a ball of plasma just floating around. And he works for the US Navy and the Space Force. So to the point about these drones, if we didn't know what these were, we would have shot these things down weeks ago. Are you kidding me? These things could have warheads on them, weapons on them. They could be suicide bomb drones like in the Ukraine. We'd have shot them down. The United States government knows exactly what they are. We've got spy satellites staring down from at every corner of the globe in infrared that we can pick this stuff up. So the fact that they're not saying that they know leads us to conclude it must be them.
And the same thing that happened with MH370, when those orbs came, those orbs can create wormholes. Those orbs, they're advanced technology that can make things disappear. It creates a force field around whatever it's capturing, and it can make it disappear. That's why you have the Cerberus systems, the 3D systems that captured that in real time. And that's why the USSF people from the military, they're the one who leaked the drone footage, the Cerberus videos. They leaked it online. These were operations, like I was talking before, the operations with Snowden, the operations coming from Hawaii. That's working with Admiral Rogers and the intelligence agencies that's at war with the deep state intelligence agencies. They're the one who captured MH370, and they were using these special plasma orbs that can create different wormholes. So all of this technology is also connected to ancient civilizations. It's also connected to speaking with different civilizations in the universe, and then far deep underneath the earth. The earth is more mysterious than people can even imagine. There's oceans 400 miles underneath the ground. What's really mysterious about this, that the government doesn't want people to know, is that natural resources of the earth, whether it's plutonium, whether you have lithium, all of these different natural resources as blue ice, then when you have it charged, with the Earth's core, the natural magnetic frequencies, underneath the Earth, there are vortexes, there are wormholes, and inside of those wormholes, there are civilizations that exist inside of Earth, and it's just not a dark place like the way people think. It's just rock and it's just darkness. There are whole civilizations that look like the outside of Earth, like the way you can see the sky, you can see the sun. There are civilizations. So there's so much information of what's going on with these different projects. Project Bluebeam, the reason why Obama, John Kerry, the deep state keep going to Antarctica. There's a reason why they blocked off certain places inside the Grand Canyons that go deep down. There's these holes that go all the way down Chaco Canyon. You know, the reason why NASA closed off a lot of places in the United States and people are forbidden to go there. There are places inside of Canada that's forbidden to go there, inside of Russia, inside of different places in Iraq. There's a lot of tunnels, deep underground tunnel systems that go deeper than all of these maglev, these lines that you're hearing about. It goes to underground civilizations. The reason why I'm telling you about this is because through Project Bluebeam, there are civilizations that are getting ready to make contact with human civilizations, and they're using this plasma. They're using these special neutrinos to communicate with humans. Now, across the world, we have 8 billion people. There's going to be small groups of people that's going to start moving very important information. It's going to connect with contact, with the real disclosure events. I haven't been talking about aliens these almost for like 2.5 years because I was saving it for now. But I told you a long time ago that during the Russian war, Ukraine, we're going to start going into this alien event, and this alien invasion was all going to come. So there's a lot of operations that you're unaware of that's happening right at this moment. And everybody that brought out the drones, you're almost watching drone wars. The deep state are using drones to create chaos. They're watching a beta event. They're watching the human civilizations. At the same time, they're tracking different places of where Trump is going, different certain officials that they want to assassinate. These are connected to their dark operations. And then at the same time, these military drones are looking for gamma rays, and they're looking for dirty bombs, and they're looking for nukes right now. At the same time, the deep state are using bigger drones and some UAPs. These are for different operations of fooling the government. They're psychological operations. And then at the same time, at the higher level, you have these orbs that's moving energy, that's moving information, it's moving communications in between planets. There's operations happening. Also with the military sectors, some of these orbs are turning into airplanes at nighttime. This isn't the conspiracy that people say, well, it's just with lights. Some of these orbs are shifting into airplanes. They're not actually shifting. They're actually letting these airplanes, come out of these teleportation wormhole systems. Just like how MH370 disappeared, this is it reappearing. These airplanes are coming back in reappearance. When they're using airplanes and these orbs are turning into airplanes, that means those are military operations that's taking place on our flat. So something's going on between Russia. There's some flights that are coming. There's something going on over in Syria. There's some military planes going that way. They're disappearing. They're not showing up on radar. And then they reappear back here. There's certain military operations happening with Russia. And a lot of these are the white hat operations that you're watching. But behind the scenes, the orbs is used for so many things, including communications. And they're beginning to show you disclosure events. Trump knows all of this stuff. Trump knows a lot of this information. When Trump says he doesn't believe in aliens, he doesn't know anything about aliens, he has to say this for certain reasons, because that's going to push him to go after disclosure projects. It's going to be pushed to expose what's really happening through Congress. As you know, these past years now, Congress is holding investigation into UAPs. You have 3 different fronts. You have fake CIA, the fake military intelligence coming out saying they don't know what it is. They think it could be a threat and all of this stuff. And then you have other people that are coming forward and saying that these are military operations. They know there's UAPs, that the military is in charge of that advanced technology, and these are connected to deep, dark operations. Then you have a lot of whistleblowers that are coming forward on the internet that's telling real operations of human trafficking using UAPs, advanced technology. So all of this is coming forward. We're in this huge, gigantic beginnings of disclosure that's happening. Right now, we're going to start heading into what could come into real drone wars of what's going to ignite and initiate. So this is what the deep state wants to create. They want to create panic. They want to use the media to show that there's something happening. So they're trying to create perhaps a drone war, and they also want to attack the white hats as drones. They want to attack each other. And these plasma ball of energy, the deep state has them, and they can use it as a weapon. The same thing with the white hats. They have these orbs, and they can use it as a weapon. So we're setting up to something that could be potentially the real, almost like Star Wars, because these orbs has the same energy of when you see a lightning or when you see the sun in the sky. That's an orb. They carry this. That's what plasma is doing. It's creating energy, but it's also used for telecommunications, for weapon systems. So we're setting up to see these stages, powerful stages of Project Bluebeam. So understanding the power of plasma. Plasma physics is an enormous part of the subfield of physics. With physical plasma existing in anything from metals in the earth to the upper atmospheres to different dimensions to inside the cells in our body, even in the water that we have inside of our body, connected to the stars, it's inside the suns. This plasma is really important. And this plasma energy is what different dimensions, spirits, beings are using. And if you remember, I had told you about the heart, how the heart is actually a vortex that's using plasma. And the way that this is created, it's created through natural gold that's in the body. In its purest form, this gold is known as monoatomic gold. And this monoatomic gold, when it goes through the systems of inside the heart, which is a vortex, and then it mixes with the plasma that's inside the water that's inside the blood, and then it creates a flash of light. And this is how life is created, from this flash of light. That's why the heart is the first thing that's created. This plasma is very important through the whole universe, and it's used for certain things, from weapons to telecommunications to time travel to human creations. It's connected to the spirit. The plasma is in all things, and this is connected over to disclosure projects. This is connected to the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening is about disclosure projects. It's giving the information to the public in stages, through letting people know what the deep state is, how the military in different countries are hiding advanced military weapons, advanced technology that can help humanity replenish the world. These technologies can transfer the world using infinite energy, 0-point energy, Tesla energy, plasma energy, communications. These are huge events that you're watching. All of these events in the United States, it's happened with the drones. These are going to go into Congress. These are going to be exposed more in 2025 as we go into a little bit of these drone wars. the exposure is going to start to come out of deep, dark operations that's being controlled by the deep state, by the military-industrial complex, and then the dark operations that's stealing all the United States' money, the taxpayer money, into these unconstitutional programs. And Trump is going to go after this. At the same time, coming in the next 3 years, all these disclosure projects is going to explode into this huge new golden age that people thought wasn't possible. Technology that you can't even imagine that's going to exist, that's coming so quickly, that's going to happen. So remember, you're inside the Great Awakening. These are stages. These are all connected to exposing the dark, awful secrets of the satanic cabal, the dark energy, the evil spirit operations that control vast parts of governments around the world, who create pandemics, who create the killings, who create the wars, who create all of these awful vaccines to government control, to enslaving society, controlling their money through resources, through energy. All that's going to change through these disclosure projects. That's why you're learning about these different important military operations behind the scenes that are bringing forward these projects. But you're also witnessing a war between dark and light, the stuff that is hidden, the stuff that's going to come out, because you've been under a spell since you've been born in this world. You've been under a spell of the darkness, but there has always been a light that exists inside of you through faith, through love, through compassion. So you're watching military operations. This is blue sky event. This is red sky event. And you're watching the counter operations of USSF Cheyenne Mountain, Trump and the military alliance, including around the world from Russia to India. There are operations to stop the real Project Bluebeam that was meant to enslave humanity, to erase the minds of humans across the world through vaccines, 5G, 6G operations. There's different operations of the original Project Bluebeam that was meant to enslave the whole world, to take apart families, to control the birth of humans, to erase the mind of humans, to erase the mind of the God knowledge, the power through different religions, the power of faith. The globalists was trying to create transhumanism and then the ultimate control of humans. But there are operations that is breaking that apart. It's broken puzzle operations that you're watching. So have faith as these operations go forward.